Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So today we are going to be talking about the most expensive pothos called as CEBU Blue Pothos. Now the name comes for this plant from its native, because this plant is native to the Cebu island, which is in Philippines. Now I'll put the entire botanical name on the screen. Now this is a very unique variety of pothos. As you can see, it's characterized by its thin and silvery green blue leaves. Now this is a very frequent plant that you're going to see on Instagram because it is so rare and it is expensive. So a lot of people tend to show off this plant, and of course it is so beautiful. Every person would love to show off this beautiful plant. Now this plant usually in nature tends to grow around 8 feet long. Now this is an epiphyte plant, which means that it tends to trail on the other plants. As you can see over here, this, if I'm going to use a pole stick, it will start to trail onwards. So now talking about the light, in order to encourage strong healthy growth, choose a location for your CEBU Blue Pothos that receives medium to bright indirect sunlight. Now please do not expose this plant to direct sunlight, otherwise the leaves will get burnt. It's pretty much same as the other pothos that we have, like a jade pothos or golden pothos. They tend to do quite well. Now CEBU pothos will not do quite well in low light, so you have to ensure that you give it a good amount of either indirect bright light or medium indirect bright light, and please avoid direct sunlight, otherwise the leaves will get burnt. Now soil is not much of an issue. Just like any other pothos, it will do quite well in any type of soil mix. I use the same soil mix which I use for my other plants. I'll put the link in the description below. So as long as the soil is well draining, it's loose porous, the plant will do quite well. In fact, this plant tends to grow quite well. It tends to grow really fast compared to other plants. So ensure that your pot has a drain hole and the soil has to be well draining. Now talking about watering, whenever you poke your finger and you feel that at least 3 to 4 inches of the soil is dry, you can go ahead and water it. Do not do too much of watering, otherwise the plant roots will get rotted. And do not keep it underwater for a very long time, otherwise the leaves will get dried up. And if you're growing it indoor, ensure that you keep it away from the air conditioning vent or the heater, otherwise that will again affect these beautiful leaves. Now talking about temperatures and humidity, because this belongs to a tropical environment, it prefers a good amount of humidity, but when it is grown indoor, it will do quite well in average humidity as well. So you definitely do not require a humidifier, but if there is a good amount of humidity, the plant will do excellent, but the plant will also tend to do quite well in average humidity as well. Now again, as I said, do not keep it under the air conditioning vent, because they do not prefer a very cold environment. They prefer a warm environment, just how our tropical environments are very warm and humid. They prefer that kind of environment. Now talking about fertilizers, even if you do not give it fertilizers quite often, it's absolutely fine. But now during summers, it's their growing period. That's why you can see when I bought this plant, it was slightly smaller, and now you can see it is growing quite well because this is their growing period. So if you want to add any fertilizers, you can go for any liquid based fertilizer. Probably you can do it once a month, but it's not very fussy about the fertilizers. Now talking about propagation, it's pretty simple to propagate it. Just like our regular pothos, how we tend to propagate them, it is the same process. You can cut the nodes. As you can see, this is one of the node that is present. I'm not very sure if it's going to be visible, but yes, over here this is the node. So if you're going to cut this beneath this, and then you can either put it in leca, you can put it in soil, or you can put it in water, and in this way you can propagate your CEBU Blue Pothos. Now talking about pest attack, usually this plant does not get affected with pest, but it's always better to do a routine check, probably once a week or once in 2 weeks. Always turn the leaves and check if there are any white flies. If you tend to see any insect attack, then you can go for any organic solution that you have been doing all this while. Now talking about, is this plant toxic? Yes, all the varieties of pothos are toxic to humans as well as pets, so ensure that you keep this plant away from their reach. Other than that, it's a very easy to grow plant. If you want to have a vining plant or a plant that tends to grow on something else like a pole, so this is one of the plant, you can add it in your collection. You can see how beautiful silvery blue the leaves are. So it's a very simple to grow plant, just like a regular pothos. So if you want to add it in your collection, you can definitely add. But as I said, this is one of the rare and slightly expensive pothos compared to all the other pothos. But if you are interested in having a pothos that has a very different texture of leaves, then this is one of the plant you can add in your collection. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.